Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. So the secret with me always has been that I never know what I'm about to say every single time that I may have ever pushed record for a Freya Skye video, and having the chance to share with you my story. My story about how one guy became a fan of Freya Skye and really fell in love with her presentation, loved everything about her music, made sense of everything happening around every Freya Skye fan because I believed in her just as much as each and every one of you have. And I will continue to as we make our way into that unforeseeable future, because the thing about the future is we never seem to know what the future has in store, but that's what's so exciting about everybody's future, is never knowing what's going to come next or what's going to happen for any of us. The thing about our lives are we all have a dream. No matter who we are, we all have a dream that we want to fulfill, that we want to see become a reality. And this is really what's happening for Freya Skye, because no matter who we are, we all have dreams, and we all relate to each other through the passions we have continued to follow for many years. And that is what she is doing. She is following her passion with your guys' love and support. So I think as YouTube content creators, the quicker that we realize how much of a fan you are of Freya Skye, we can appreciate you more, and we can understand the reasons why you watch these videos. And I think that that's why this has become everybody's favorite YouTube channel, because I very quickly understood that, and I fell in love with that. I fell in love with sharing with you my story, and also hearing yours. Because you're just like everybody else. You're created equal, and you're a fan of Freya Skye. You don't know why you love Freya Skye so much. All you know is that you love her. And you just want to attend these Stars Align tour shows. You wanted to attend her acoustic shows. You wanted more than anything else in the world to have had the chance to experience the Worlds Collide tour. Many of you were shut out because you couldn't get tickets and you had to watch it on YouTube. I used to get comments from fans all the time saying they were shut out and they had to resort to watching it on YouTube. But you know something, even if you had to watch it on YouTube, it was still a phenomenal experience, because it was so fun for me watching it on a new TV that I just recently installed in my office. It was a 65-inch TV, and honestly, even if you watched it on YouTube, you felt as if you were there and you were experiencing it for the first time ever. I must have watched the Worlds Collide tour over 100 times, and every single time that I watched it, it felt like I was watching a different production, because every single time I took away something special from it, from the dedicated performances, the heart and the passion that came from the cast, and the fans being at an all-time energy, because there was an all-time energy at every venue, 19,000 to 20,000 people for 43 arenas across the United States. And there were already rumors about Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour happening. And I truly do hope that this happens for people like Kylie and Freya, because the more exposure we give to them, more people are going to hear about their music and want to buy their EPs, and give them more exposures and more of a chance to be a part of each and every one of our lives, because I've never wanted their stars or their dreams to fade. I've always believed in their stars shining brighter than ever before, and I've never wanted their dreams to fade. That's why I've always encouraged even you guys to continue to follow your passions, because you see, when you continue to follow your passions, some of the most unbelievable experiences happen for you, and you have more of a chance to make people understand you for who you are, from maybe being a fan of Freya, or maybe having been a fan of Kylie Control, because many of you have been a fan of Kylie for what feels like forever. Many of you have been Descendants fans since the very beginning. You've been with this project from the very beginning of it, and you saw nothing but special things in it, special moments. And I got to share in that with so many wonderful people. I got to share with you my story, and I got to hear your story, and we became the best of friends, and we've been the best of friends ever since. We've been incredibly supportive of each other. You see, all I've ever wanted the fans of Freya Skye to do are go to these tour dates and have the time of your life. Never really pay attention or care what a critic has to say, because in every venue that can seat up to almost 3,000 people in these small-scale arenas and theaters, there's always a critic who always has an opinion they want to share with the world, who will go home on their YouTube channel, sit in front of their really expensive camera that they can shoot videos from every angle, sit in front of their really expensive microphones. Some of them have them attached to their shirts, and they talk. You just can't see the microphone. And I've never had any place in any conversation that I've ever been a part of for criticism, no matter if it's constructive or general criticism, because no form of criticism is a nice way of perceiving a superstar who is just simply trying to find their place in the world, because they're just as emotional as each and every one of you. Everybody cries, everybody laughs, everybody experiences every emotion. And that's exactly what Freya Skye is doing, because if you pay close attention to her performances, especially from the Worlds Collide tour from this past summer, she was so emotionally appreciative of each and every one of you. And until you realize that, you can never really call yourself a Freya Skye fan. But millions of people have seen that in Freya. They've seen how emotional she is, and how appreciative she is of every single moment that she's ever had the chance to be a part of. These Q&As blow my mind, and I always take something special away from them for how she connects with each and every one of you and makes you all feel as if you're a part of something special. So you run to the concession stand and you spend all your money on that one Freya Skye hoodie that you may have never taken off. There are people who watch these videos every night on YouTube who have never taken off that Freya Skye hoodie. And I think that there are going to be many more opportunities for us to buy her merch, to purchase her EP, and to really respect her music for how it's been meant to be respected for a very long time. The first song that I ever heard from Freya Skye was the song Gold's Gone. And that was part of the Worlds Collide Tour, and I never felt more honored to experience it because it was shot during the Worlds Collide Tour, the collaboration of the music video from the Worlds Collide Tour, and it went on to receive over 1 million views within about 24 hours. And I never forgot how popular Freya Skye became after the release of that music video. And then music videos like The Person I Thought I Knew and Can't Fake It would follow it in success. And they received so much popularity. Freya Skye's only shot about 4 music videos, but they are some of the most popularly downloaded and highly demanded off Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, however you listen to your music. I think every single person who's ever been a fan of Freya Skye enjoys listening to her music up until 5 a.m. the next morning. You're probably listening to Freya Skye's music on your way to school, when the sun comes up every morning. I know, I get it, and I appreciate it because I do the same thing. Although 30 years ago, when I was a fan of Disney, you were a fan of things like the DuckTales theme song, which was the catchiest theme song for a TV show of all time, and you couldn't stop listening to it. It was either that one or the Goof Troop theme song, where Goofy and Max always used to get caught up in all these unpredictable experiences. It was so fun for me being a Disney fan over 30 years ago, but I never had the chance to experience these concerts or these new stars that would go on to represent Disney Channel. Just this past week, we are celebrating the 18th anniversary of the Miley Cyrus Hannah Montana Best of Both Worlds tour, which also featured the Jonas Brothers. It was a tour that lasted over 5 months, and thousands of people sold out arenas that could seat anywhere from 19,000 to 20,000 people. So why not can't this happen for Freya Skye? I've always believed that Freya Skye deserves the opportunity to perform in front of 19,000 people. This coming Monday night, she will kick off another show that can only seat up to about, I think, 3,275 people with standing room only tickets. I know this because I used to promote wrestling events years ago. I was a wrestling journalist, and many of the venues that Freya Skye is selling out for this tour, I promoted wrestling shows in for many years, and I had the time of my life. But you know something? The most fun that I've ever had is having the chance to share with you my passion for Disney. My stories about how I was a fan of Mickey Mouse, and I have all this Mickey Mouse merch behind me. There never goes a day past in my life where I don't buy a Mickey Mouse stuffy or a Mickey Mouse t-shirt. Coming up in the summer, you guys will probably see me wear a lot of Mickey Mouse t-shirts. And I also have a lot of Nintendo characters I love to show off in fashion shows here on this YouTube channel. I've really had the time of my life showcasing my passions because, you see, the only thing that I've ever wanted any of you to do is to continue to follow your passions. Because when you follow your passions, special things happen for you. I know there are a lot of people who want to get into the same line of work as Freya Skye, Kylie Contrell, because you love them with all of your heart. But when you think about it, why YouTube creators sit down with you for over 20 minutes per video and they encourage you to continue to follow your passions? I think that if more YouTube creators realized how passionate you were about things like Hannah Montana from generations ago, or the Worlds Collide Tour and wanting to perform on the same stage as your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars, the better appreciation they would have for you, because it's all about understanding your audience. And that's why I can tell you these stories about how every day after school I used to come home with my book bag, and ever before doing homework I could be caught watching Disney Channel. It was either a toss-up between Disney Channel or how I thought pro wrestling was real, because every Tuesday afternoon wrestling used to be on at 5:30, and I always wanted to see what the big match would be, if they would have a steel cage match or something like that. I never wanted to miss wrestling ever before I did my homework. So when it comes to coming home from school and watching your favorite Descendants and Zombies videos, I can somewhat relate to that, because it was either I was watching Disney Channel at 15 years old, or I was watching pro wrestling, because a lot of it had to do with how I thought wrestling was real. I can sit back in this chair for forever and feel so relaxed while sharing with you my story about Descendants and Zombies, hoping it's going to be well received and having the chance to hear your stories, because I got to give it to you guys. Some of you feel very passionate about Descendants and Zombies. Some of you have held Descendants and Zombies very close to your hearts. Unquestionably, the story of Zed and Addison, those characters, have been defined through their legacies. and they will never be forgotten because of their contributions and how much the Zombies franchise meant to them. So the best way that we can honor that is by passing that legacy on to people like Freya, Skye, and Malachi Burton, while giving people hope for the future that Zombies 5 is going to happen. Because I pay close attention to the trends on YouTube every night, and I notice you guys are YouTubing, when is Zombies 5 coming out? When is Descendants 5 coming out? It's a simple question, and as we etch ever closer to the premieres of Descendants and Zombies, the least that Disney can do is give us the answers to the questions that we want, as opposed to watching these fake trailers all the time. Because there are hundreds of fake teasers and trailers uploaded to YouTube every night that are often very misleading. And nobody ever really sits down and talks to you about Descendants and Zombies and wants to understand you for being the fans of Descendants and Zombies you are, because it's not just about the music or the story. It's about how passionate you are about collecting your merch. Many of you probably have a shelf in your room full of Descendants and Zombies dolls, because the collections of Descendants and Zombies dolls are really beautiful. A lot of you love putting it on display in photos for Facebook and X and social media accounts that I've never even heard of. I've never ever signed up for an Instagram account or a TikTok account because I could never imagine myself shooting a 60-second video and doing a freaky dance, which actually looks kind of really fun. I've kind of become obsessed with TikTok, although I've never created my own TikTok account, because I loved watching Descendants videos on there. Because some of the most insightful Descendants videos were found on TikTok. You see, I have this issue with never wanting to record a 10-minute long video, because what can you really say in 10 minutes? A lot of people feel as if you can say a lot, but you can never really say how you really feel in just 10 minutes. And that's why every video that I ever record runs for about 20 minutes, because I love having these conversations with so many people. Because somewhere or somehow, I would love to think that I inspired somebody to continue to follow their passion and to believe in Descendants and Zombies more than they ever have. Because if there ever was a time to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies, I think the time has never been more apparent to be appreciative of and really to take full advantage of. Because no matter what your reason for being here, or no matter what your reason is for being a fan of Descendants and Zombies, everybody's reason is different. And that's what makes them so special, is that everybody's reason is different for being a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And that may have taken me the chance of living near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that may explode at any given moment to truly understand that, because how else is somebody supposed to share with you their thoughts on Descendants and Zombies by just talking about it? You might as well just live the entire Descendants and Zombies experience and live your life in fear of your local soda plantation or chemical plant exploding. I've lived here for forever, and I've never had any regrets. And I like to believe that somewhere, somehow, I put a smile on everybody's face that's ever loved Dove Cameron with all of their heart, because there are many fans of Descendants who have never quit believing in Dove Cameron, who missed Dove Cameron on that 2-year hiatus she went on, and then she comes back in 2022 with this new EP called Alchemical, and then the follow-up wasn't released until 2025, but you held a very special place in your heart for Dove Cameron, and you guys deserve to be honored for that. I remember how excited Quality Control was for her first ever EP called Boy to drop, and she was promoting it on social media. And there wasn't a day that passed that I didn't see a new video uploaded from Quality Control where she may have been recording herself doing a Taylor Swift cover, which she finds time in appreciating. The thing is, I've always had issues with these critics who always try to take away everybody's hopes and dreams about Descendants and Zombies and never wanting to say goodbye. Do you think that I want to say goodbye to Descendants and Zombies or discourage somebody from anything ever happening or coming to be for Descendants and Zombies? No, I don't. I just have loved being a part of these conversations. Not just the conversations, but having the chance to get people to subscribe here to this YouTube channel, because I can go on for hours about my favorite character, how my favorite character was always Ruby Rose Turner's character, Bridget. And why do you think Ruby Rose Turner was my favorite character? Because she was just so genuinely kind. There was just something about the girl's kindness that I could never seem to get enough of. Every single time I could ever watch a Ruby Rose Turner music video or an interview with her featured in it, I took myself up in the chance just to understand her better. I always appreciated how she would always share things with you, like how she had the biggest crush in the world on Justin Bieber. I really don't know why she had a big crush on Justin Bieber. I don't have an answer for that. But I would love for Ruby Rose Turner to know that all of us feel very passionate about her every single time she feels downhearted about how she was never accepted for a role or she never had this opportunity. The thing is, there will be many more opportunities coming the way of Ruby, so too will there be many opportunities for Quality Control. We just have to wait on those opportunities. And as we wait in the wings, watching from the Raptors, we can cheer them on. We can support them in these wonderful videos that we have the opportunity to create. You see, I've never needed any special effects to share with you how I feel about Descendants of Zombies. Expensive ring lights or, green screens that a lot of people have in their backdrop. Because I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've been doing it a long time, and I've seen the best of them come and go in this industry. I remember when Jessica Simpson's first ever EP dropped. It was called Sweet Kisses back in the summer of 1999. And I remember holding it in my hand and being so proud to hold the first ever EP by Jessica Simpson in my hand because I was a fan of her. I didn't know anything about my life, where my career was headed. It was the first year of my career, but I never felt more honored to hold the person's EP in my hand. I remember how beautiful the artwork was. The EP wasn't very detailed, but it really defined what Jessica Simpson's legacy was meant to be about. And then as the years went on, I gained a greater appreciation for her friendship with her sister because they were awfully close. And I remember seeing Ashley Simpson rise to popularity because of the success of Jessica Simpson that she had previously seen, and how Jessica helped promote her. It was really fun. And then Mandy Moore showed up in 1999 with her debut album. It was called Crush. And Mandy Moore went on to become such an iconic name as the voice of Rapunzel for Disney's Tangled in 2010. I remember the premiere of that one at the Capitan Theater. I remember holding the very first VHS cassette tape for Toy Story in my hand in 1995. You know, years ago when Disney would release movies, after they would be released theatrically, it wouldn't be up until 6 months after the movie had been released theatrically that you could actually purchase it. Now it happens within a month. Within less than 4 weeks to a month, we see a new digital release of a Disney movie. Years ago, it was 6 months. And I remember appreciating that. Can you imagine waiting 6 months to buy the VHS cassette tape for Descendants, if it would have been a part of that era? I think it would have been so fun for Clarke and to have been born in the 1990s or the early 1980s and to have the chance to experience those decades. Because you're talking to a guy who experienced those decades and had the time of his life. I remember seeing Mike Tyson's first professional fight. I remember seeing the premiere of Space Jam back in March of 1996. I was at a flea market on that day and I bought the VHS cassette tape of Space Jam with Michael Jackson and Bugs Bunny on the cover, the promotional poster, for $10 at a flea market. And on that afternoon, I thought I had the world because I had a $10 movie that was being sold to promote Space Jam. I share with you these stories because I want you to know that you're a part of something special. And the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour was truly something special and something that deserves to be celebrated and honored. And I just wanted to be a part of honoring that because I had the chance to share with you my story about how I may have loved Ruby Rose Turner, or I may have supported Kylie Cantrell from now until the end of time. Because the thing about time is time always runs out, and we never seem to know how much time we have. So I just wanted to have so much fun recording these videos with each and every one of you. You may be watching a video about a guy who may have thought professional wrestling was real, and every scary movie that he ever saw on TV was the realest thing ever. Because you can never be too prepared for a zombie apocalypse, or believing that your girlfriend may be a vampire or your roommate may be a werewolf. Believe you me, I've had more real-life encounters with werewolves than I ever want to remember. But the thing is, every story that I've ever shared with you guys, I've just wanted to put smiles on your faces and give you more of a reason to believe in Descendants and Zombies than you ever have. Because if you believe that what you see on TV is real, what you see from these productions has more of a chance to be given to it and shown than ever before, that's what makes this so fun. And I wish more YouTube creators would really realize that, while giving you hope for that foreseeable future, because indeed there is one forthcoming for Descendants and Zombies. And I've had more fun meeting more fans of Descendants and Zombies than I ever imagined or I ever thought possible. But even with how many fans of Descendants and Zombies I've already met, I still have so many wonderful fans of Descendants and Zombies that I have yet to meet. So all that means is that I have my work cut out for me, and there's a chance that I may have to upload Descendants and Zombies videos for the rest of my life. And do you think I'm excited about that? Oh, for sure I'm excited about having to upload Descendants and Zombies videos for the rest of my life. I've already dedicated the rest of my life to uploading the content that you guys have loved and appreciated for many years, and I might as well follow through with that, because there's no better niche that I would rather go out in a blaze of glory with than the Descendants and Zombies fans, and it has everything to do with how incredibly supportive you've been of every video that I've ever had the honor of uploading. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and if you've ever believed in a future for Descendants and Zombies, well then perhaps you should continue on believing in that. Because as long as you continue to follow your passions, that's what makes each and every one of you so special. Your memories from being Descendants and Zombies fans, or even just being general fans of Disney. Because I can remember having the opportunity to experience all of these momentous times where Disney's history really evolved into something so special. And I've had the time of my life sharing with you my story from the perspective of a Disney fan, which is very different from every review that may have ever been uploaded about Descendants of Zombies to YouTube, which is basically uploaded every night. I got a lot of competition. But I would love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I don't know how I'm going to beat out the algorithm every night or beat out all this competition, but there's nothing that we can't do together and outlast, because your kindness really has made this YouTube channel into something so special. Just you being a fan of Descendants of Zombies, however you choose to be a fan of Descendants of Zombies, passionate about merch, passionate about shirts and sweaters, passionate about the dolls. I've loved this opportunity so much, guys. Continue to follow your passions, and if anything, continue to believe in yourself and believe in this story, because it never has to be over, and it shouldn't be over, because it has everything to do with how much you believe into it, and that's what it comes down to. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Never drink the Kool-Aid of those critics, because I've always had issues with those critics. We will get there. It's just going to take time, and there's no reason why we can't get there and experience this together. Because I feel like I've been a part of a dream or a story that I've never wanted to wake up from or never wanted to end. And I've loved every opportunity I've ever had to share with you my story from the perspective of being a really dedicated Descendants of Zombies fan. Pretty much a loser who used to play a lot of video games before Descendants of Zombies became a part of my life. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and thank you so much for believing in everything I've had to share with you about Descendants of Zombies. There will be more great videos where this one came from, so you just might want to subscribe here. You will have the time of your life and have no regrets, I promise you, because I've loved sharing with you my story about being a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for believing in Descendants of Zombies as much as what you have, and thank you so much for having watched this video.